Rain hammered the train station roof, loud enough to drown out every other sound. 17-year-old Ethan Walker sat alone on Platform 7, pencil moving over paper in a worn notebook. He'd hated stations ever since his father left his family here years ago, every corner smelling of unspoken goodbyes. He sketched strangers passing through, never looking up to meet anyone's eye. A train screeched into the platform, brakes screaming against metal. A girl ran through the rain onto the platform, laughing as she went, and sat beside him out of breath. She spotted his sketchbook, craned her neck to look, and said, "You draw people the way they wish they felt." No one had ever understood Ethan's art before. No one had ever really looked at it twice. Ethan froze, pencil hovering over the page, expecting her to turn away after a quick, polite comment. Instead, she leaned in closer, asked how long he'd been drawing, where he got the worn notebook. Weeks of unplanned meetings followed. She talked non-stop, he barely spoke, but the silence between them never felt heavy. She leaned over his shoulder, whispering for him to draw strangers like they were secretly in love, and he always did. They built small, warm routines. She memorized his favorite songs, he carried bandages for her frequent small cuts. On a rooftop overlooking the city, splitting cheap instant noodles for dinner, Lena asked Ethan his biggest fear. "Losing someone without saying goodbye," he said. Her smile faded. "If I disappear someday, promise you won't forget me," she begged. He locked his pinky with hers and promised. She turned away to wipe tears before he could see them. Love kept growing in small, quiet things. She stole his fries every time they got burgers, and he pretended to complain, even though he'd ordered extra just for her. When she was cold, he gave her his outer layer, and she said it smelled like him, so he wore that same scent every day for months. Then one evening, her usual seat on the bench was empty. She never showed up for their planned meeting. He called her number, and got a disconnected tone. He checked every social media account he had for her, and every page was gone. It was like she'd been erased from the world entirely. Still, Ethan came back to Platform 7 every single night, sat on the same bench, and waited. 2 weeks later, a station worker found him huddled on the bench, handed him a crumpled envelope with Ethan's name scrawled on the front. It was left for him by Lena. Inside, there was a Polaroid of them on the rooftop, grinning with noodle cups in their hands, and a folded letter. Lena wrote she'd had a terminal heart condition from the start. She didn't tell him because she didn't want pity, she just wanted the few months she had left to feel like real love. Before him, she didn't know what it was like to just live, instead of waiting to die. She thanked him for loving her gently, for letting her forget she was dying. The rain seeped through the envelope as Ethan read, and his tears soaked through the paper before he finished the last line. A full year passed. Rain poured again on the station roof, just like the first day they met. Ethan sat on the same bench, pencil moving over his sketchbook, when a familiar soft voice whispered right beside his ear, "You still draw people happier than they are." He froze. His pencil snapped in half against the paper. He turned slowly, his hands shaking so bad his notebook slipped off his lap onto the wet concrete. It was Lena. Thinner, paler, but alive, smiling like she had the day she ran through the rain onto the platform. Ethan sobbed, loud and uncontrollable, no words coming out. Lena laughed through her own tears and said, "You kept your promise." He pulled her close against his chest, holding her like he'd never let go. For the first time in a whole year, he wasn't alone.